So what we were telling is the proclamation that was released on September 19th, 2025. So it was technically a shocker for everyone. So no one expected that this kind of a restriction on people entering the US on H1B would ever come. And hardly there was about a couple of days where people had to scramble, try to get back into the country. Not even a couple of days, hardly about a day. The proclamation was released on 19th, and they had to return before 20th night 11:59 Eastern time. So that is the timeline they had. As you know that majority of people try to book flights and then re-enter the US because they had no clarity, and majority of US corporations and the petitioners, they said they sent out urgent travel advisory people who are inside the US to not travel out of the country until there is further clarification. And people who are outside the US, they said, if you can't return by September 20th, please postpone your trip. We will get back to you with the next course of action in about a week's time or more. So that was a kind of panic. It was a shock for the entire immigration attorneys, including the companies or the benefiters. Even the dependents were worried about what is happening. So this proclamation technically says any new petition that is filed on or after September 21st of 2025, and for a person who's outside the US, technically they are subject to pay an additional fee of $100,000. Okay. Initially, it was termed during the press release video, where it was termed that it will be applicable an annual kind of fee, but the later the clarification came up that it is a one-time fee. So that is what we have as far as the fee is involved. Okay, and initially there was an assumption that people with the current valid visa cannot enter the US for September 21st, and because of that, a lot of flight cancellations and visa appointment cancellations did happen, and they had to take a decision within about less than about a day or something. Many people had to rush through that, and they didn't have enough clarity. Okay, but again on 20th and 21st, there are further clarification that came from the Department of State, from the White House, and from the CBP, indicating that people with a valid H1B visa can travel in and out of the US without any issues. And then another clarification came that petition that was filed and or that was approved before September 20th, they shouldn't be impacted by this proclamation. They can probably go out of the country and get a stamping and then come back. So that is the latest clarification that came on 20th and 21st. Okay. And there were a couple of other Twitter accounts and X accounts, one from the official account of White House. Technically, they call it that way. And then there was another account from Press Secretary of White House, which clearly indicated that this fee would be applicable for the upcoming lottery. Okay, so this is what happened, and so despite all this clarification, okay, there are a few other information that I would like to share. Is people within the US are not technically on currently on a H1B are not affected by this fee. Okay, and in case they are filing for an extension within the US, a change in employment within the US, or amendment of a petition, they are not currently impacted by the fee, even if the petition is filed after September 21st. But what will happen if they happen to travel out of the US and then try to re-enter? So that question is still unclear. We don't have a clarity on that. So that is the kind of situation that we have, and people with prior petition approval that was approved before September 21st, and they have already, they've already applied for the visa. In the past couple of days, we had about three applicants, and two applicants over the window were indicated that the visa is being approved, but they have to watch out for the online status. Till date, that online status has not changed. And there is another applicant, the case has went on to a 2210 or administrative processing for various reasons. That application has some complications. Okay, this is the current scenario. And people who managed to get back into the country after September 20th, that is on September 21st to till date, they never had any issues. They said it was a smooth sail. We went into the country. The port of entry officer did not stop us. We were back in the country. So that is exactly the current situation with a valid visa They can come in and out of the country. There doesn't seem to be any kind of restriction in their entry. And we are assuming that based on all the clarification, probably they're trying to implement a monetary kind of a collection kind of a plan or a program, which would probably affect the upcoming lottery that starts in somewhere and registration starts in March of 2026. So that is a major cost. Apart from that, who could be immediately be affected? As I said, someone who's filed an extension after 21st of September or change of status or amendment petition who's going to travel abroad might be affected. We don't have a clarity on that yet. We will come up with the clarity as we have more information. And there are some petitioners, okay, who are technically cap exempt. They're primarily the colleges and universities who sponsor academic kind of H1Bs or probably research oriented kind of H1Bs, right? So those application may have an immediate impact, but again, we don't have a clarity. And the administration is also considering excluding the doctors, technically the physicians, from this list. They don't want because there is a huge shortage of doctors in the US. So they plan to do that. Bloomberg News has come up yesterday. So this is the current scenario, and we still are waiting for more clarification as to what exactly means H1B renewals, whether it is a visa renewal or a petition renewal. We don't have a clarity on that. Whether all petition that is filed after 21st of 2025 and people happen to travel abroad will have an impact or not, we don't have a clarity on that. Whether the fee will be implemented first only from the upcoming lottery cycle that starts on March 2026, it is clear that it is first will be applicable from the press secretary account, but apparently we cannot take that as official kind of a clarification or a guidance per se. So this is exactly where we stand.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
may have, go ahead with the questions. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, thank you for that clarification. So, do you think this could have been planned better, or it's an ad hoc decision that they have taken, which resulted on the 20th and 21st, as you said, a lot of confusion, people booking flights, and all those things happened, and all that. So, a lot of people actually got confused, and they took maybe some rash decision or harsh decisions and quick decisions, and affected a lot of families and people also, right? So, do you think this could have been planned a little bit better? I know I'm going to come into the other part about the monetary aspect and all that, but do you think this was something you guys could foresee from before, or this just came out of the blue?
Came out of the blue. This was not a proper planning. We never expected anything like this, and within a very short duration. So the reason that we have so much of ambiguity in the entire proclamation is probably it was ill planned. They did not take a proper legal help in preparing this kind of a proclamation. So we feel this was ad hoc, and that is why it resulted in such a panic. And then now the government is going back and then saying that no, these applications are not fitting into that, they are all exempted and stuff like that. The clarifications came later, not from day one.
Okay, so what you are essentially saying is that people who have already stamped visas sitting in India, they are not affected. So it will people who have to go through a lottery system. The lottery system, maybe I don't know if it has happened for this year, or it's the next schedule is for 2026. They will be affected. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, to be very specific, the people who have been counted towards the lottery this year in the year 2025 and they have a start date of employment in October 1st, they are not affected. That part is very clear. Okay, because those petitions were filed and approved prior to September 21st. So those applicants will not be impacted by this new fee. But in future, in the upcoming lottery in 2026 March, yes, they seem to be affected, and that part is also clear on the policy memorandum and the proclamation. Yes.
Okay, so I mean, how are the companies who are going to, I mean, offer H1B visas to prospective candidates from this year onwards are reacting? You have any information from the market or anything?
It's too early to think about a futuristic sponsor of H1B at the moment. And as far as, let's say there's someone in there, they already had a H1B in the past, they are currently in India, and the companies are already worried about hiring someone who's outside the US because there is a huge delay in visa processing. Sometimes there is a 2 to 1G, it goes into a black hole. We don't know how long that administrative processing is going to take. So that is already in place. Now they'll be more skeptical in hiring people who are residing outside the US. So that will be there. And about the next lottery, we have to wait and watch whether this proclamation is going to hold good in the court, whether the lawsuits will take care of it. So we have to wait and watch.